Unit 9, Objective 1, Simplifying Polynomials. Alright, in this unit we're going to spend a lot of time talking about polynomials. So we need to understand a little bit about them and what they are. Alright, so first we want to talk about a monomial. A monomial is a one-term polynomial. So an example of a monomial could be 3, could be 3x, could be 5x squared, or 7x squared y to the third z. It can be very basic, a simple integer, or it could be much more complicated. But each of these are an example of a monomial. Okay? Now, if we have two terms, we call it a binomial. And bi simply means bi, like bicycle, biplane. Nomial is term. So an example of a binomial might be x plus 3. Here's your first term and your second term. Okay? Now, every polynomial has a degree. The degree is the highest exponent in the leading term. So in this case, we have x to the first power, so this would be to degree 1. And every variable has a coefficient in front. And what we talk about when we talk about binomials and trinomials and any polynomial is the leading coefficient. So the leading coefficient of this binomial is 1. Let's call it the leading coefficient, and that is 1. Okay, and we can have many more complicated binomials like 5x squared y plus 7z. And we can obviously get much more complicated. 25a to the second, b to the third, c. Let's go this time minus 7xyz. Who knows? All right. And then we have trinomial, which of course, which is simply a three-term polynomial. And let's say something basic like x squared minus 7x plus 2. And I didn't mention it before, but let's go back and look at these. I have these in what we call standard form. This is degree 1, 2, 3. We add up all the exponents of the leading coefficient. 1, 2, 3. So this would be to degree 3 with a leading coefficient of 5. I think I said we add up the exponents of all the leading coefficients. We add up the exponents of the leading term, the first term. Down here we have, remember that c is to the first power, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this binomial is to degree 6. And it has a leading coefficient of 25. Down here, this trinomial here is to degree 2 and has a leading coefficient of 1. Okay, so polynomials can have 1, 2, 3, or more terms. All right, usually we list a one term as a monomial. An example of a monomial. A binomial is simply a two-term polynomial. A tritterm or a trinomial. After that, we usually just say a four-term polynomial or a five-term polynomial. Don't really have names for them after that. Okay. Following naming them polynomials, we want to put them in what we call standard form. Standard form simply means we want the highest degree as our first term and in descending order all the way down to a constant if we have it. So for example, standard form might be 3x to the third plus xy minus 7x plus 2. Okay, this is in standard forms because the first term is to the highest degree. This is to degree 3. This would be to 2, the second degree, and the first. All right, and so we would always want our highest degree first. So we have 3. This polynomial is to degree 3 and has a leading coefficient of 3. Let's put LC of 3. So let's get some practice putting polynomials in standard form. All right, so let's say we have 3x plus 7x to the third minus 2. All right, we have a trinomial here. So we look, this first term is to the first degree, this is to the third degree, and we would say this is a, we could say, we don't need to, but this would be to 0 degree because there's no x. We'd say the exponent is 0, so we just don't even have that there. So we're going to rearrange this to 7x to the third plus 3x minus 2. All right, let's take another one. Let's go with, let's do something like 4x to the third minus 7x squared y squared plus 2y minus 6. All right, so putting this into standard form, we want to find the highest degree. This is 3. This is 2 plus 2 or 4. This is 1. So let's put it in descending order. So this guy is going to come first. Now the reason I picked minus here or subtractions because we want to remember the sign in front of the term goes with it. So this will actually be negative 7 x squared y squared. Now this one plus 4x to the third plus 2y minus 6. Now we have it in standard form. All right. See how that negative sign came out here? So this is a 4th degree polynomial with a leading coefficient of negative 7. All right. Using that information, let's go ahead and do a couple of problems off our paper. All right, so this is the worksheet you're going to be completing in class today. Should have no problem getting it done. And if you get it done before the end of the period, you can get it stamped for an extra stamp. All right, so 1 through 6, write the following polynomials in standard form. Name each polynomial based on its degree and the number of terms. All right, so I'll take a look at number 1. I will say we have negative 6x squared is our highest degree, so I'll go negative 6x squared, then plus 2x minus 7. Okay, and this is a second degree trinomial. With a leading coefficient of negative 6. All right. Now don't forget, if you have the same term, you would combine like terms. All right, moving down to number 7 through 17. Again, we're going to combine like terms. I'll do number 16 for you, and the rest you need to do on your own. So here I have to distribute that negative sign before I can combine like terms. So I have y to the third minus 4y squared minus 2 minus 6y to the third minus 4 plus 6y squared. Now I need to combine like terms. So I have y to the third and negative 6y to the third. 1 plus negative 6 is negative 5y to the third. I took care of those. I'm going to cross them off. Okay, do I have any y squareds? Yes, I have these two. So negative 4 plus 6 is 2y squared. I took care of that. Notice I have to the third degree first before 2. And finally, I have negative 2 plus negative 4, which is negative 6. So I have a third degree trinomial with a leading coefficient of negative 5. All right, I'm going to leave the rest of these for you to do. You should be able to complete them before the end of the period. If you do, you can get a stamp, and I'll actually give you an extra stamp on Monday for completing it before the end of the period. Have a great weekend.